What's up, everybody? Today is August 5th of 2021, and here in this video we're going to talk about a couple of seemingly unrelated news stories that are connected through actor Jack Black and a couple of major films that he's a part of. On August 3rd, we learned about the death of Jody Hamilton, a professional wrestler better known as the Assassin. And this man has a birthday of August 28th, which is the same as Jack Black. Remember, Jack Black played a masked wrestler in the 2006 film Nacho Libre, which was based on a true story, modeled after that of Fray Tormenta, a Mexican lucha libre, who wears somewhat of a similar mask to the Assassin. The Assassin was also a manager in addition to his wrestling duties. Notice how one of the wrestlers he managed was Paul Orndorff, shown here at the right. And Orndorff just passed away last month on July 12th. We'll talk a little bit about how that's connected. Jody Hamilton died at the age of 82, and the day before his death was August 2nd, written 8/2. And on that day, we had a very, very strange thing occur in Major League Baseball. Now, mind you, this was the same night that a cat took the field at Yankee Stadium, and it took the grounds crew a couple minutes to rally up this cat. It delayed the game for a little bit. So this animal interference, again, occurred the same exact night that this praying mantis showed up on the head of Washington Nationals player Victor Robles, or Robles, I should probably say. And this was a pretty sensational story, right? The cameras first picked up this mantis sitting on his head in the bottom of the 8th when he was in the dugout. Fast forward to the top of the 9th, and the mantis is still on his head. In fact, the Phillies scored like 5 runs this inning, and the entire time this mantis is still on his hat, moving down to the brim. There even came a point where Robles acknowledged the mantis on top of his head. So a very strange thing, but again, we're going to look at the synchronicity that connects these two stories. And again, we start with actor Jack Black. Now, the name Jack Black reminds us of a casino game called Blackjack. Now, Blackjack is a game of 21, so we can see how this number is significant for Jack Black. Of course, this is the year 21. And in this video, we're talking about the death of a wrestler named Assassin Number 1. Notice how Assassin 1 has this Gematria value of 21. The 21st prime number is 73. Notice how the Assassin equals 73 in reverse reduction. So does the name Joseph, which was the Assassin's real name. The word sacrifice sums to 73, so does ritual sacrifice in reduction. And not only was the assassin named Joseph, but he was even from the city of St. Joseph, Missouri. Now, this is all pretty strange, because on my YouTube channel, I've been doing a lot of work recently about the death of men named Joey. And this all started with my video talking about the death of Joey Jordison and how it points to a riddle in Major League Baseball. The death of Joey Jordison was connected to another Joey, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Notice how Joey Jordison and JGL have the same Jewish gematria. And when Jordison died, his gematria was found in the age of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Jordison's death fell just a couple of days after we learned of a name change in Major League Baseball, where the Cleveland Indians will be changing their name to the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians reminding us of angels and angels in the outfield, which Joseph Gordon-Levitt was the star of. So I made this video a few days ago, I think last week. And then the very next day, we learned about the death of Dusty Hill, the bassist of ZZ Top. And isn't it strange that Dusty Hill, his real name is also Joseph? The name Joseph Michael Hill sums to 165 in the standard alphabetic order. This is the same as Joseph Hamilton, which again is the real name of the wrestler, the Assassin number 1. Furthermore, his real name, his full name I should say, Joseph Nicholas Zwaduk III. Notice how this sums to 267. Joey Jordison died on the 26th of July, written 26/7. And again, I invite you to check out my video on Jordison to see all the links between him and Joseph Gordon-Levitt in that video. Furthermore, this name equals 129, the assassin's full name. That's another number shared by Joey Jordison and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. So back to the slides. Again, Jack Black was born on the date August 28th, which is the same day as the Assassin number 1. They were born, I think, 31 years apart. And again, Jack Black played a masked wrestler in the film Nacho Libre. Nacho Libre was based on the true story of Fray Tormenta, who made his debut in the year 73 and then retired on July 3rd, the date written 7/3. Remember, this was found in Joseph and the Assassin. So the Assassin died on August 3rd, which is the date written 8/3. This date fell 25 days before his 83rd birthday. Notice how in ordinal the name Jack equals 25 and 83. These numbers frequently appearing in stories about death and murder, 25 and 83. The Assassin was a manager of Paul Orendorff, who just died last month. But again, this man's name being Joseph is what really brings this riddle together. Down in the description below, I have a video from February linked on the death of another masked pro wrestler named Josephus, whose real name was also Joseph. That man's name was Joseph Hudson. And there was some significant numerology in this man's death as well. He died on the 55th day of the year. Joseph Hudson equals 55. He played a masked wrestler named the Question Mark, which equals 55. Hudson was a wrestler in the NWA, which is owned by Smashing Pumpkins frontman Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan equals 55, and Joseph Hudson died exactly 55 weeks before Corgan's 55th birthday. Think about how the words wrestling and sacrifice equal 55. Actually, it was news that was exactly 55 weeks before Corgan's 55th. Measuring from the death of Josephus to the death of Joseph Hamilton, we get a span of exactly 161 days. Using the standard alphabetic order, Thomas Jacob Jack Black has this value of 161. This is also a span of exactly 23 weeks. And the Assassin died a span of 23 days after Paul Orendorff, whom he managed. When the praying Mantis first sat on Victor Robles' head in the dugout, notice how the score of the game was 2-3. In fact, when the camera first cut to this footage, it was right before that pitcher's 23rd pitch. The count was even 3-2. I don't know. That's a little wild, but this 23 seems to be no mistake. As far as why this was in a baseball game, consider that the name Jack Black has matching ordinal and reduction gematria with baseball. This baseball game occurred on a date with primary numerology of 51, And Jack Black is currently 51 years old. He played the wrestler Nacho Libre, which equals 51. The Nationals wound up losing this game by a score of 5-7. There were a lot of runs there in the ninth inning. Notice how 57 is found in the value of both Nacho Libre and Fray Tormenta, who again Nacho Libre is modeled after. Now let's think about the fact that this was a praying mantis. Jack Black is the voice of Kung Fu Panda, another very successful film series. And one of Kung Fu Panda's sidekicks is a praying mantis. Notice how the word mantis equals 76. So does praying mantis, with the S exception. The name Victor Robles also has this value of 76. And in the Kung Fu Panda series, the mantis is voiced by actor Seth Rogen. Notice how Rogen equals 76. The last birthday of the assassin and Jack Black fell on a date with primary numerology of 76. Fray Tormenta, the inspiration for Nacho Libre, is currently 76 years old. Victor Robles, whose hat the mantis sat on, was a span of 76 days after his birthday on the date of the game. When you go to Victor Robles' Wikipedia page, notice how it says, not to confuse this guy with a New York politician named Victor Robles. And check this out. Victor Robles is also 76 years old. The politician Victor Robles was born on the 166th day of the year. This is the ordinal value of praying mantis and the reverse value of Victor Robles. So there's actually a professional baseball player with the nickname Kung Fu Panda. And this is Pablo Sandoval, who spent the majority of his career with the Giants. Am I mistaken? Does Giants equal 73? No, okay. But here's the sync with Pablo Sandoval. So Sandoval played with the Braves up until July 30th. Look at that, the date written 7/30, like 73, a number we've been focusing on. Sandoval was just recently traded to the Cleveland Indians. And remember, this all started with the death of Joey Jordison, which followed the Cleveland Indians name change. So how wild is it that the baseball player, Kung Fu Panda, was here? And he's connected to this. When we look at the film Kung Fu Panda 3, this is the most recent Kung Fu Panda film to have been released. This film came out on January 29th of 2016. And strangely enough, when you measure to today's date, August 5th, now of course it's been a couple of days since the assassin died, but notice how Kung Fu Panda 3 sums to 58. Today's date, the 5th of August, is written 5/8. And if you measure from the release of Kung Fu Panda 3 to today's date, you get a span of exactly 288 weeks. This is like the number, or the date, 28/8, which again is the birthday of both Jack Black and Joseph Hamilton, the assassin. But what's also interesting about this number is that it's also exactly a span of 2016 days. Well, the film Kung Fu Panda was released in the year 2016. The number 2016 is what we call a triangular number. So if you add every number, 1 through 63, it's 2016. And in that same cipher, the name Jack Black equals 63. So there appears to be more to this. Now, the last slide in my presentation here focused on the number 76 and how significant this was to the whole ritual about the mantis. Because the word mantis equals 76. Well, when you write out 76, notice how it sums to 162 and 108. These are numbers significant to Major League Baseball. Major League equals 108. Major League Baseball equals 162. The word baseball even equals 162. Of course, there's 162 games in the season. Remember the 54 and 18 from Jack Black. So when we look at the number 108, which again is the value of Major League 108 and 76 108, this brings us to an even stronger synchronicity with Fray Tormenta, the original Nacho Libre. So Fray Tormenta gets his name because Fray translates to the word friar, right? And the word friar translates to padre. So if you look up the etymology for padre, padre coming from Portuguese, which is father, like a priest. So the Padres' nickname is the Friars. And the last game the Padres played, before the death of the assassin, it was their 108th game. And they won it by a score of 1-8 on the date August 1st, or 1/8. Now, the number 108 is very significant to this total lunar eclipse code. Now, both the moon and sun are each 108 times their own diameter from the Earth. In fact, the sun is even 108 times the width of the Earth. And when you get this alignment like this, a straight line between the sun, the Earth, and the moon, you get a full moon, which sums to 108 in both forwards and reverse gematria. This is a tribute to geometry, which sums to 108 in both methods. So, think about how Jack Black was born on August 28th of 1969. 8/28/69. Well, this was just 1 month and 8 days after the moon landing. And as we discovered, Jack Black is highly connected to the moon. Consider how in Jewish gematria the name Nacho Libre equals 218. And in Hebrew gematria, the word for moon sums to 218. On top of that, Nacho Libre also sums to 51 and 57. These are the ordinal values of moon, 51 and 57. Moon also sums to 21. Consider how a blackjack is 21. Now, back in the year 2006, Jack Black got married. And let's look up this date, Jack Black marriage date. March 14th of 2006. So that's cool because it's Pi Day, March 14th. But what's so significant about March 14th, 2006 is that there was a total lunar eclipse on that date. And this wasn't just any lunar eclipse. This was the first total penumbral lunar eclipse of the entire century. And what this means is that the moon just happens to fall perfectly in the Earth's penumbral shadow. And this is extremely rare because, as you see, the moon is barely the size of the penumbra, and it has to be like the perfect distance away from the Earth for this to work. So this was the first total penumbral lunar eclipse of the century, and I think there's only, 5 maybe this whole century? So Jack Black has some really strong ties to the moon. Now, the moon is the ruler of one sign on the zodiac, and that sign is Cancer, as you'll see, ruled by the moon. The symbol for Cancer is this 69, kind of a sideways 69. And in Gematria, the words lunar and eclipse both equal 69. So this year, there was a total lunar eclipse on the date May 26th of 2021. So punching this date in, measuring to the death of the assassin, the masked wrestler with the same birthday as Jack Black, we get exactly 69 days. The name Joseph Hamilton sums to 69. Again, this is the real name of the assassin, number 1. And then we get Fray Tormenta. And Fray Tormenta also equals 69. How wild is that? So, again, I think that was a lot of info. I think I got everything out there. A pretty big, strong synchronicity with this Mantis. And just for anybody wondering, when I first saw this, I thought the Mantis was fake. But as you see, it actually moves down lower onto his hat throughout the game. And there's a few frames in this where you can definitely see the Mantis's head move. So, I mean, yeah, maybe someone put the Mantis on his hat, but who kept it there? That's the really weird thing about this. I mean, to me, if you see this the way I see things, this is just a clear note of synchronicity. Remember, a couple years ago, we had an eagle land on the shoulder of a pitcher in the outfield during pregame warmups, and that had strong numerology connected to the moon as well. Think about how the moon landing, which occurred in the year 69, was with the Eagle spacecraft, where the Eagle has landed. So, pretty powerful stuff, but I think I'm going to leave it there. We talked about a lot in this video, so thanks to everybody for jumping in. Peace, love, God bless, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.